Welcome to Project Amber. Today I'm going to show you where I went wrong with my van.
But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Like with most projects, well for me anyway, there's loads of little details and little things that you miss when you're starting to build and all the way through the process, and a lot of the times they can come back to bite you. Things you just don't think about, things you do because you're excited and you rush in, too busy thinking about what colour your wall's going to be and where your telly's going to go, and then mistakes right at the end when you just can't be arsed anymore and you just want your van finished. I made plenty, despite the fact that I used to build and convert camper vans for a job. There's plenty of mistakes in this van, so I'm going to get to it, show you around, and hopefully you won't make the same mistakes I have. We'll start on the outside, seeing as I'm out here. So when I took everything off the van, there was quite a lot of places I had to panel in. Where the tail lift went, down on the rear quarter, the new skylight at the front, and then behind the step. I got this fiberglass like material. It was supposed to be outdoor material, but it just didn't work. The sun got to it and it all warped and just looked absolutely terrible. I had to go to an aluminium company and order some sheets of aluminium cut and do it properly, take them all back off and do it properly. I have missed one, and that's by the step. So this is the material I used, and you can just see how bad. If I put the camera down there, look at the wave on that, it's just absolutely crap. It's come away there, the sun's got to it, it's warped off, and it's just slowly pulling itself off the van. So yeah, if you need to do any like panel work or anything like that, you've taken something off the van, use aluminium for your skin, because it's not expensive. 2mm aluminium for something that size is probably £10. Obviously where my step comes out, I'm going to have to really carefully cut through, which is harder in aluminium. Honestly, that's probably why I left it, because I'm mega lazy. But yeah, you won't get any warping then. Okay, batteries. Yeah, they're both absolutely covered in shit because I lost my mud flap the other week. Yeah, when I get home, these are going to be ripped out. I'm still going to have the two circuits because I really like the fact that the 12 volt is separate from the inverter and the 240 stuff. But I'm going to go for some proper deep cycle long life batteries, do my research. Yeah, I think if you had a really simple setup, a bit of 12 volt lighting, maybe a TV and not much else, these batteries would probably do you, but I've got a lot of electrics in my van. This thing goes off-road a lot, and yet it's on standard road tyres. So I do want to change them for all-terrain tyres. The problem I'm having is the wheels, because it's a twin wheel on the back. It's a different kind of wheel, they're like truck wheels, and they are 15-inch. You can't get the loading decks on all-terrain tyres for 15-inch wheels the size of this van. So the only option I have is to go to the States and get bigger wheels from there. So that's a potential. I'd like to do it. I'm gonna have to like win the lottery or rob a bank or something to do it. But stuck in here is my gas locker, and the mistake I made in here was getting a gas bottle. It is pretty difficult getting another gas bottle in Europe when you run out. Chances are you're not going to get this size, which is the kind of standard size for the UK. You can get taller ones, but they're usually about that width. The European ones are about 2 inches thicker, and in my gas locker it didn't fit. So for 4 months of the trip I had to have my big Spanish bottle here with an extension out and a special adapter just hanging out the back of the van, and that was a right nightmare. I've been driving around all day trying to get gas. Finally found propane, but the bottle doesn't fit in the cupboard. I think every time I pulled up somewhere I'd have to get the gas bottle off the passenger seat. Oh yeah, I had to drive with the gas bottle in the passenger seat. Safety. Yeah, get it out, put it down here, connect it up, and then leave it. And overnight, if I was in a place that was, let's say, less desirable, this whole door was open and my gas bottle was vulnerable, and that was a pain in the ass. Yeah, when I get home, this is being got rid of, and I'm going for a gas-it refillable system, because it's just so much easier. Go to a petrol station, fill up your diesel, go around the corner, fill up your gas, you're away. Okay, so a mechanical balls that I made was leaving the country for 9-10 months with what turned out to be a ruined clutch.
There's something about, oh my god, there's something about fourth gear today. There we go. Just about to say today the van is having a bit of a bitch fit. First brought onto me. Back into third. Ah, we got fourth! Yes!
So I've always ranted on about the sprint shift gearbox I've got in my van. It's a semi-auto box, so you can go into automatic and it will just change the gears itself, or you can go up and down the gears and do it manually. But it's been horrible. It's been absolutely awful for me. But what I didn't realise was the fact that my gearbox is actually the same as pretty much a manual van. Inside it is just a clutch and dual mass flywheel. The only difference is rather than you push a clutch pedal, there's a computer that kind of pushes the clutch out, changes the gear for you. That's the only difference. So it turned out I just needed a new clutch and flywheel. So I've got the clutch and dual mass flywheel kit literally on its way today. My friends Tim and Julia are driving over to meet me, and they've been kind enough to bring my clutch and that over with them. So if it does go before I get home, I've got one on board to kind of change. But yeah, I think if you buy an old van like this, especially something that's got as high mile as an ambulance, a good kind of peace of mind thing would just to do the clutch. You don't want to be in the position where I've been, where nearly every drive now I'm getting tense when I'm trying to get to fourth gear because it's gonna crunch and I'm gonna like lose power and have to faff around getting into gear. You want to be able to chill. That's the whole point of coming out and doing these trips. And currently I can't chill driving this van because I'm constantly worried that the bloody clutch or flywheel is going to explode. One other thing for the exterior as well that I forgot about, awning. When I set off I saw the price of the Fiamma ones and I thought, I'm not paying that, I won't need an awning. It's now the dead of summer. Today it's 35 degrees, yesterday was 37 degrees. An awning in this sort of weather, oh my god, is needed. When I've met up with other people, we've used like tarpaulins and hooked them against the van. Kind of does the job, but in bad weather, rain and stuff like that, to pull an awning out and be able to sit outside still, brilliant. Sun like this, wind it out, get some shade. If you're kind of 50-50 like I was on getting an awning, get an awning. You really, really need them. Alright, get me inside before my pasty ginger complexion burns. Right, into the cabin. This is where most of the balls ups are, because I built it. Yeah, there's a lot of things I need to redo and change in here because it's just not quite working as well as it could be. So when I bought this, I thought, right, I've got all these cupboards here. There are so many cupboards in this van, I don't need to worry about storage. I'm still running out of space. I've still like got every little nook and cranny in this van filled, and it's just a ball ache. I haven't got any room for anything else. I mean, you see all these people on Instagram doing these bird's eye view shots down of the van and them lying on the floor with all their little pile of stuff, and this is all we have, we're so simplistic. Nah, bullshit. If you are coming out on a trip like this and you only bring 4 pairs of clothes, some wicker baskets, a bike, a slack rope and some yoga mats, you're an idiot. I'm going to do a take one and get everything out of this van because I'm going to need a whole Tesco car park. I have everything in this van, and that is for a reason. So yeah, space and storage is an absolute priority for me at the minute. I need space for more stuff, and I've got a few plan changes in here to get more space. Starting with the microwave. I've used it literally twice on this whole trip. You can't use it when you're off grid because it uses up to 800 watt. That completely ruins a leisure battery. You can't run a microwave for 2-3 minutes off a leisure battery. It's just not doable. So the only time you can use it is at a campsite. And behind here, when I get rid of this, there's the aircon unit in like this corner here, behind all this. But here onwards is just a big open space. There's so much room behind there in the moulding above the cab that I can use to fill up with clothes, God knows else what. So yeah, microwaves in an off-grid van, just it's not ideal. Don't bother with it. I'm getting rid of mine. The next storage solution is my wardrobe. I've got my big raincoat in here and 2 shirts, and that is the full extent of my wardrobe. So yeah, the wardrobe's completely useless really. Worst of it is I actually took a cupboard out of here to make it. So one will be going back in here. This is dead space as well. That'll be covered. So what I'm going to do is get rid of all this crap, cut that off, and then when the bed's pulled out, I'll have another bit of foam made to fill in all of that gap. And then I'll have a bed that is literally end to end of the van. I mean, I'm kind of a short ass, but my feet still just kind of come off the end of the bed. So to be able to have like full stretch in the van will just be so much better than an epoxy wardrobe with 3 items of clothes on it. So yeah, it's a pretty big area, pretty big corner of the van that needs a lot of work just to open up space really. So while we're on the subject of the bed, this is the underneath of it. Never really see it, never show it anyone because it's always an absolute shithole. But yeah, this holds all my tools, spares, and at the moment, the water tank. So the water tank is 100 odd litres. It goes literally from here right to the back of the bed. Yeah, so the plan is to take all this out, open up all that space and make this thing underslung. There's a huge space under the van where the old tail lift was. Right under here, the tank should fit pretty perfectly. And with a little bit of jiggery pokery on the inlet pipe and stuff like that, and a hole in the floor for the water pipes to come up, it's not that big of a job, and that gives me all of that space there for more storage again. These two things are the absolute bane of my life. The amount of times I trip up them getting in or getting out of the van is unreal. Now, tripping over the dog food one is not too bad, it's a bit annoying. Lance tends to hoover that up. When you trip over the water, it goes f***ing everywhere. So I want to do something along this wall maybe, or something in the van to move these and have them locked in position. Like when we're driving, I can fold them up, get them completely out of the way. Because when we are driving, they just fly around, fly into that corner, splash up that corner, fly back over here, splash up the door. So a solution for these two is pretty damn desperate. There's another thing I really want to get sorted on this van, and that's the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that you never really see. I know it's there, and it's always the way when you start you build, you're dead enthusiastic, you get everything done completely precise. I want these wires run dead straight and then all come down into the little bits and blah blah. You get to like 4 or 5 weeks till the end, or you've overrun on your project and you're just like, oh my god, just be finished, and you're just throwing things together. And there's quite a lot on this van behind the scenes that I'm just really not happy with. There's still like leftover wires in this cupboard from when it was an ambulance. They're all redundant, they could be taken out. A lot of them run along inside here, all sorts of places, and it's just weight. Again, it's just leftover weight there. Underneath the van there's old like brackets and stuff from holding the tail lift on, and things that need taken off and replacing, and finishes on edges where I've just gone, oh bollocks to it. Just loads of little tiny jobs like that, loads of little finishing things. Up above the microwave you can still see the supports and the structure of the box, because I'd never panelled it in. There's so many little jobs like that that nobody really notices them, but I know they're there and they annoy me. So yeah, the floor, massive balls up on my behalf. You want to be part of this, do you, mate? Okay, sit down there. Good boy. I used to do coach building for a job. Part of that was flooring. And yeah, I use laminate flooring. Kind of a stupid move there. It's all started to lift and twist where the van's been expanding, contracting in heat, spills on the floor, the dog being wet, and God knows what else. It's just completely ruined this floor. The reason I did use this is because in the floor here and here there are still the track system from the ambulance that held the stretcher on the floor. I couldn't get them out, so I routed out tracks in each of the laminate floors that cover them, so it kind of slotted over the top and was done with it. But that's come to bite me royal in the arse now. Luckily the kitchen and the shower is not under the floor, but the log burner plinth and my bed, the floor runs underneath that. So to change my floor now, I'm going to have to pull all them out. So yeah, all this is coming out because it's absolutely shit. I'll be boarding up, attempting to get the tracks out again with a little more enthusiasm this time, and then boarding it all flat and going for some hardware in lino. because then there's no chance of moisture or anything getting into it, getting through it and behind it. You can silicone all around your joints and corners, and then it's just, there's no chance of any water getting through and ruining your floor. So there's quite a few changes need happening in the shoilet. Not so much in design. I'm all right with how it looks. Might put a few little bits in it to make it look a little less white, because it's kind of boring in here. But the problem is the floor. I totally ballsed up the floor. Again, used to do it for a job, but rushed it because I needed to get off on my travels. So my plan for this floor originally was to have a plug in each corner, as you're supposed to. Just basically, so no matter what angle your van's sat at, the water can flow into any of the corners and drain away. If your van's leaning like that way and you've only got 2 plugs here, it's just going to want to go that way and pour out into your van, go wherever it wants. It's water. But I didn't. Instead, I just put the floor on a complete angle and put 2 plugs in either side. And then after you shower, you got to stand bollock naked, trying to push the water into the plugs with your foot. And yeah, that's not a fun job. So yeah, floor's coming out. I'm going to change the whole flooring area, make the shower area a bit deeper as well. And then there will be a plug in each corner. So I put this big lip on to hold where the door trap goes. Okay, there's another problem on the van, and that's the bathroom door. That's another job I've got to do. This list is getting so f***ing long. So it's the same situation with my sink. I couldn't get a sink the right size, so I just built one in this cupboard. But I only put 1 plug in the one corner, and like put the whole bottom base of the sink on that corner, so it should flow. So if the van was perfectly level, it wouldn't be an issue. It's fine. But again, it's a van. When you park it, if you park the back wheels on a slight slope, everything's going to go that way and just congregate in this corner. That's not what you want, especially if you parked up for a long time. So when I get back, it's going to be another plug there, another plug there, another plug there, and no matter what angle the van's sat on, it'll all drain away. Ceiling was also a bit of a balls up. Looks nice. It's like fake Alcantara material. There's a bit of a rite of passage when you enter my van, and that is to stroke the furry ceiling. But there is problems with it. Over here, where is it? It's well hidden problems, I'll give it that. Ah, there. It's kind of lifted there where the glue hasn't taken from the material. Over here is really bad. That's like just a huge bubble there. And basically what that boils down to is a combination of me trying to do it myself, not having enough glue or enough hands, and it needs, this kind of job needs 2 people really. And then on this side I had to take the roof down just before an electrical fault caused the rear lights to stop working. So this whole side of the roof had to come down, and it was rushed to get back up. So that's why that's just things like that. So yeah, basically general rushing has made that. I forgot about a dirty washing storage thing. So for this trip, it's all been done out of this bag in this corner, which does its job, but it just kind of like looks better when it's accessible there. Also, I just kind of throw clothes in it, and it just kind of piles up into a big dirty gross pile of clothes in the corner. So I could do with a dedicated cupboard that I can chuck all the clothes in, lock it away, and not have to see it. I've done a video on the fridge already when it stopped working, and I attempted to repair it, and it resulted in me being chased down by some weird freaky girl of the forest. So hopefully that won't happen today. Yeah, the fridge is shit, to be honest. I've tried to kind of hold back from calling it shit until now, because I wasn't sure if it was my ventilation in the back or what. So this is the Ice Q 3-way fridge, and it's not up for the task of being in a camper van. Trying to deal with a fridge like this, 3-way fridge that runs on gas, and you don't have your van perfectly level, or you've kind of like gone off road and bounced it around a bit and all the gases have moved. It's just not going to work. It's a ball ache to keep these things cold. There's been times where I've done like a week's shop, had loads of fresh meat, veggies, all sorts of stuff in there that needs to stay cold. Opened the fridge up and it's been actually warm in there, and the meat's been ruined, everything's been ruined. I've lost out on about 30 euros worth of food, and that's happened a few times. So this is a planned change. I want to get a compressor fridge. I was talking to Simon at Self-Built Adventures. They had a compressor fridge and they said they've put it in, plugged it in, 12 volt, and they've never turned it off. Even when the van's at a standstill, hasn't been started, they never have problems with it running out of power or getting warm. It's always cold. The cost of compressor fridges are crazy. Like their one was smaller than this, and I think it was around £500 for something like that. But if you're living in a van, it's worth it. So yeah, there's quite a few balls ups in this van that need sorting out. But sometimes you just get overexcited with a project when you first get it, and you rush, or you get to the very end of it and you just can't be arsed anymore, and you rush to get it done. And yeah, it's something to bear in mind to try and not do, because it always bites you on the arse. My floor needs redoing, sink and bathroom need redoing. There's lots of little things here and there that need improvement. But the beauty of it is, when you do start pulling your van apart, you find other things that you want to improve and change. On the exterior, I'm hopefully looking at taking the whole box off the chassis. The chassis legs are starting to get a little bit in need of some care and attention, so looking at getting them sandblasted and cleaned up. While all that's being done, there's a leak on the air suspension, so that allows the back to drop overnight, which you can be level at the start of the day, end of the day you kind of so that needs sorting out. New compressor for that, because it takes about 10 minutes to pump up, and I want it just to be like pow. If money was no object, I'd have bags put on the front and have it as like a complete self-leveling system, so each bag is independent. You can drain them and level up your van with the suspension. That would be pretty bang on, but money is kind of tight right now. I'm sticking the van on a diet. When it's being pulled apart, I'm going to find loads of bits. I'm like, what the hell did I leave this in here for? But half of that is probably my floor. The laminate floor on top, get rid of. The lino underneath, and then the massive amounts of board they put underneath their floor is all still under there, so that's getting out, getting that completely out. Massive box sections underneath the van that used to hold equipment on, getting rid of all that. So yeah, I'm getting the van on a strict diet, so it's more fuel efficient, basically, easier to get up hills, it's not straining itself as much, and I'm going to save a bit of money on fuel. Another planned change is some sort of rig up for the accelerator pedal. A lot of people get in touch with me from the States and say, oh, all our ambulances have this button on the dash that you press and it holds it at 2000 RPM or whatever, so all the equipment can be used in the back. The UK ones don't have that, and it'd be really ideal to have. I don't think I've got the know-how to do that electrically. I think that's ECU tampering, and I'm not willing to do that, so I'm just going to get like a special bar that drops down, locks up completely safe when I'm driving. Obviously you don't want it dropping down, but yeah, when the van's parked up I can drop it down and it locks perfectly onto the pedal and holds it at a certain rev. So if I'm off grid and the batteries are starting to get a little low, I can start the van and bring them up without using a slab of wood, which is what I'm using at the minute. I'm thinking of changing the colour scheme. Maybe not on the outside. I quite like the outside colour still. It's a little bit aggressive. People don't know what it is. In here, it's dark. I like it. It's a bit of a lad's pad kind of style thing, but it could definitely benefit from some lighter shades in here. Just make it a little bit more brighter. Make it a bit more of a uplifting place to be. There was a mad plan change that I had. Me and George were talking what we'd do if money was no object, and the other plan change I had was to take the roof completely off this and have kind of a fold up extra floor, so you pushed a button and gas struts set off and it all just kind of lifted up the ceiling to another probably 3 foot, something like that, and mezzanine kind of bunk bed and all sorts of stuff, basically like a pop top but a little more engineered. Like the sides would probably be solid and open up. Yeah, we're talking about it for hours. Realistically, it's a hell of a lot of money to do it. It'd be pretty cool though to have a double decker kind of ambulance though. If any millionaires are watching, you want to kind of give me, you know, a bit of money to try these stupid things, go ahead.
Please, sir, I want some more.
Van toys.
But yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to having a project again. Project Amber was just the name I gave this when I started building it. It's kind of followed on to do the whole vlogs and stuff. But yeah, to be able to work on Project Amber again, it's gonna be good fun. And I'll probably have the camera out while I'm doing stuff and film all that as well. So you'll be able to see the van change when I get home and when I do it. So yeah, lots and lots of plan changes. I hope this has helped or at least been entertaining. Like I say, if you're building your van at the minute and you're going down the same route as me with certain aspects of my van, yeah, don't. I made mistakes too. If you still have any questions or comments, feel free to drop messages down below and I'll answer them the best I can. But for now, that's it. That's how I balls up my van. Thanks for watching.
I'm a fool for your love.